This is manufacturing employment in South Africa from 2008 to 2001 first quarter, and really in the last few quarters we've created a few jobs but not too many. And we've gone from employing about 2 million people to around 1.7 million people. We've lost about 300,000 jobs in manufacturing. The South African economy today is significantly bigger than what it was before the recession. But we haven't grown jobs, as we can see here. And not only that, the problem is it's been built on debt and consumption. So the supply side of the economy has been absolutely neglected. And that's where manufacturing has fallen down. Mainly because of imports, and mainly because of imports from Southeast Asia. Not only China, but predominantly China, but also Vietnam and other incentivized low-cost countries have killed our jobs. And this is another point where you're not seeing enough in the media about the threat of China and what it's doing to jobs. This is why I was so angry, and I really was angry with the Freedom Foundation's comments that actually it's very good to have cheap imports into this country. Because when you look at this decoupling, it's incredibly worrying. Imports and exports were more or less balanced last year, even though it was still, the economy was sluggish. But here we've seen a massive deviation where imports have exceeded exports. At the moment, China is exporting unemployment. It's due to a number of factors. Obviously, they have a number of unfair incentives. They have a currency that's manipulated, and it's very competitive. But also what's happened recently is, I think, the recession in Europe and to a lesser extent the United States has meant that China has built up inventories. And so they have to reduce them. You know, China has to create, I think the figure is 20 million jobs a year in China. And if they don't do that, they have their own civil unrest. And so what's happening is a lot of those inventories from Europe, etc., are now finding their way into the South African market. And if you have a look at the growth of exports to South Africa from China over the last 2 years, it's risen meteorically. Other countries in Southeast Asia, I say Vietnam is another one, which is very cheap labor. But there are also some good models in Asia, like Thailand. You know, I think we've got to look at the Thailand model, which makes quality products, has very high local content. A car in Thailand will have a 90% local content. And certainly do not have the export incentives that China and Vietnam does. Brazil protects its manufacturing. It's very difficult to export into Brazil. And I think we've got to take a leaf out of Brazil's book, quite honestly, because Brazil's been also very, very effective in growing their manufacturing. For instance, from January, Brazil is sponsoring the electricity by 28%. And those are the type of things we need to be starting to do. We're the only country in the world where energy is going up. Everybody else is cutting energy prices. So we've got to look at the world. We cannot be an island, and that's been our problem.